And today there was, of course, history in the making. As despite the fact that the government had already signed a piece of paper saying that the emissions target for Australia is a 43% cut by 2030, just 7.5 years away, that apparently this is going to be enough to change the weather. Remember, floods, fires, rain, all of that business. Remember, Australia's output when it comes to CO2, 1% of the world's problem. China, that makes up about 20%, can do whatever it wants for the next 7.5 years. The rest of the world, the third world, which is another 20%, can do whatever it wants for the rest of all time till 2030. There's Russia, who obviously doesn't care about the world order, the United States, where Biden can't get climate legislation through his own parliament, despite having Democratic control in both houses of parliament, and the Supreme Court said that his EPA can't do something. But again, this is not an argument against climate change action. It is about rationality and proportionality. Because despite the fact that many of the posers in our parliament and in our media pretend that we can change the weather, we can't. But today, we now got a vote in parliament, and there'll be another one next month, which means this crap goes on, to guarantee that the 43% is locked in legislation. It is as boneheaded as the decisions that were made in the 1990s to slam the door on things like nuclear power. This is all great when you make laws for today, but when you make laws forever, there'll be a point in time when things change. It is, of course, obvious that all of the solar and all of the wind will not be built in Australia. The technologies will be built mainly in China, mainly with slave labour. So help me out, virtue signallers. Which is it? You think you can change the weather, but you won't be able to do it because best case scenario, 43% of 1% of the world's problem, while China can cover everything we do in 1 year in just 16 days, and they turn around and make this new technologies that will cost us up to $1 trillion, T4, trillion dollars according to the CSIRO. But I get it, it's the vibe, man. It's what everyone's into. It's the new groove. Well, this, unlike the twist, actually has consequences. And none of the people who made the decisions today about 43% will be affected at all, because they have a guaranteed income between now and the next election of, as I said, $600,000. The average Australian wage is the best part of $80,000. So they are multiples of what you will earn, let alone if you're a self-funded retiree or, God forbid, somebody who's on a fixed pension. Posing is great, but they are there to govern the country and to take care of the country. Now, they all think that they took care of the country today by locking this thing into legislation. Prime Minister, very happy, big tick.
Australians have been impacted by droughts and floods and bushfires. No, the impact of climate change is real. We need a response which is real. The government is offering that, and I'm pleased that it received the support of the House of Representatives.
Remember, proportionality. 43% of 1% of the world's problem, of which China can do in 16 days. And they will continue to increase their pollution for the next 7.5 years while we do our best to pull things back. And as we pull things back, we make things more expensive. And as we make things more expensive, people will lose their jobs. Now, they can tell us every time they want that 600,000 jobs will rain from the sky. I don't believe them. If they're right, I'll lick their boots in 7.5 years. But I think we both know it's not going to be true, just like the promise of $275 power cuts. But again, it's all the vibe, man. It's the new groove. Who cares? The politics has changed forever because of the Tiffany Teals. The Liberal Party can never, ever, ever put together 76 seats ever again. Pull the other one and plays jingle bells. Now, they'll probably be there for the next election, maybe the one after that. But when the government changes eventually, like it always does, they'll be swept away. They'll become trivia questions in a pub trivia night. But what will they have actually done for the poorest people in their electorates? Oh, well, I dealt with 43% of 1% of the world's climate problem. What else did you want?